Galactic Empire thought victory was assured, until humanity's hidden fleet arrived. The massive ships of the Galactic Empire darkened Earth's skies on a quiet Tuesday morning in 2157. For decades, humans had watched the Empire expand across the stars, hoping they might be overlooked or deemed too primitive to bother with. That hope died as thousands of warships took position around the planet. Admiral Tay stood on the bridge of his flagship, Dominance, his tall frame silhouetted against the blue-green world below. His dark eyes showed no emotion as he gave the order. Begin the assault. Target their military installations first. Brilliant beams of energy lanced down from the Imperial fleet. On the planet below, General Kim watched helplessly from Seoul Command Center as defense bases worldwide reported devastating strikes. Earth's military had prepared for this day, but the technological gap was too great. Sir, Washington has gone dark. Beijing reports 70% losses. London is requesting permission to launch nuclear countermeasures, reported Colonel June. General Kim shook his head. Denied. Nuclear weapons would only harm our people. The Empire's shields can withstand far worse. Within hours, Earth's organized. Resistance collapsed. The remaining fighters scattered into underground bases or fled to the colonies on Mars and Europa. Admiral Tay permitted himself a small smile as reports of victory flooded in. Inform Emperor Du that Earth has fallen according to schedule, he ordered. Deep beneath the Martian surface, Commander Park received the reports with a stony expression. She was younger than most expected of someone in her position, only 35, but her eyes held the weariness of someone who had prepared for this moment her entire life. It happened exactly as the simulations predicted, she told the gathered officers in the dimly lit command room. The Empire believes they've won because they've captured Earth. Captain Sung, her second in command, stepped forward. Should we begin evacuating the Mars colonies? No, Park replied. Let the Empire believe they've found all of us. Our visible resistance on Mars and Europa will fight conventionally, and lose, eventually. That's what the Empire expects. She walked to a console and placed her palm on the scanner. The screen illuminated with a single phrase, Protocol Lazarus. For 3 generations we've been preparing, Park continued. While we built cities on Mars, we also hollowed out asteroids in the Kuiper Belt. While we established research stations, on Europa, we also constructed shipyards in the shadows of gas giants. She entered her authorization code, followed by those of the 5 other commanders in the room. The system accepted all codes and displayed a simple message. Activated. The Kai. Empire thinks this was a conquest, Park said, looking at each officer in turn. It was actually just the opening move in a much longer game, one they don't even know they're playing. Across the solar system, in bases hidden from Imperial sensors, dormant systems hummed to life. In the darkness beyond Neptune, construction, bays concealed within hollowed-out asteroids illuminated as power flowed to ships that had never been registered in any database. On the bridge of the Dominance, Admiral Tay received a curious report. Sir, we're detecting unusual signal patterns originating from Mars. They don't match any known human communication protocols. Analyze them, he ordered. We can't, sir. They're encrypted beyond our current capabilities. The Admiral frowned. The humans weren't supposed to have technology that sophisticated. It's probably nothing, he said finally. Their systems are failing and sending garbled data. 3 days later, Emperor Du himself addressed the conquered humans through all communication channels. His holographic image appeared in homes and shelters across Earth. People of Earth, your resistance has ended. Your planet is now part of the Galactic Empire. Accept Imperial rule, and you will be treated fairly. Resist, and you will be eliminated. Commander. Park watched the broadcast from her underground command center. When it ended, she turned to her communications officer. Send the signal to all Lazarus installations. Authentication code, Phoenix Rising. She stared at the map of the solar system displayed on the main screen, beyond which lay the coordinates where humanity's real power had been growing in secret for decades. The Empire thinks they've won, she said quietly. They have no idea what's coming. Galactic Empire thought victory was assured, until humanity's hidden fleet arrived. 3 months after Earth fell, the Galactic Empire still struggled to fully control the planet. What they had expected to be a simple occupation had turned into a daily battle against scattered resistance. Admiral Tay sat in his temporary headquarters in what had once been Seoul, reviewing the latest reports of attacks on Imperial patrols. "Another transport destroyed near Sydney," he muttered, "and 2 fuel depots sabotaged in North America. These humans are more troublesome than anticipated." Dr. Choi worked in the Imperial Science Division, a gleaming white laboratory built over the ruins of a human university. Outwardly, he appeared to be a model citizen under Imperial rule, quiet, obedient, and brilliant. The Imperial officers valued his expertise in materials science. "Dr. Choi, we need to improve the heat shielding on our dropships," said Supervisor Min, sliding a tablet across the table. "The resistance fighters have been targeting their cooling systems." "Of course," Dr. Choi replied with a respectful bow. "I'll have a solution by tomorrow." That night, alone in his lab, Dr. Choi created exactly what the Empire had requested: a new heat shield compound. What he didn't mention was that he had included a microscopic flaw in the molecular structure. The shield would work perfectly in testing, but would catastrophically fail after exactly 40 hours of use. "Small victories," he whispered to himself, encoding his work and sending it to the Imperial Manufacturing Center. Across the solar system on Titan, one of Saturn's moons, Captain Lee led a very different kind of resistance. Once the commander of Earth's largest destroyer, he now headed a group of guerrilla fighters who lived in the mining tunnels beneath Titan's surface. "The Empire is sending a supply convoy through the Saturn rings tomorrow," Lee told his team as they gathered in an abandoned mining chamber, 6 ships with minimal escort. "Their overconfidence is our opportunity," said his Lieutenant Jin. "They still think we're just angry locals with outdated weapons." What the Empire didn't know was that Lee's forces had salvaged advanced weapons from abandoned Earth military outposts. They had also developed techniques to mask their heat signatures, making them nearly invisible to Imperial scanners. The next day, Lee's fighters struck the convoy with precision. They disabled the escorts first, then captured 3 supply ships before Imperial reinforcements could arrive. The stolen ships contained enough food and medicine to sustain the hidden colonies on Titan for months. Back on Mars, Imperial Governor Han paced in his office, furious at the latest reports. "How is it possible?" he demanded of his staff. "Earth is pacified, yet the colonies continue to resist." Admiral Tay assured Emperor Du this would be a simple operation. His aide, a young officer named Bei, spoke carefully. "Sir, we may have underestimated the humans' resilience. They seem particularly adept at adapting to our tactics." "Nonsense," Han snapped. "They're primitives compared to the Empire. We've conquered 1,000 worlds more advanced than this one." No, the other side of the solar system, far beyond Pluto in the darkness of the Kuiper Belt, Commander Park supervised the final preparations of humanity's secret fleet. Inside a massive hollowed-out asteroid designated New Dawn, engineers worked on ships unlike anything the Empire had ever encountered. "Status report," Park ordered as she entered the central command chamber. Officer Kang looked up from his console. "The propulsion systems on all ships are fully operational. Weapons at 97% capacity. Cloaking technology is functioning perfectly in tests." Park nodded, surveying the digital display showing hundreds of ships in various stages of readiness. The centerpiece was the massive dreadnought they had named Reckoning, a vessel built inside Ceres that had been quietly moved to this secret location years ago. "The Empire thinks they're fighting a cleanup operation against scattered survivors," Park said. "They have no idea we've been preparing for this moment for 3 generations. She turned to her communications officer. "Send the signal to Captain Lee on Titan and Dr. Choi on Earth. Phase 2 begins now." Galactic Empire thought victory was assured until humanity's hidden fleet arrived. The massive asteroid designated New Dawn didn't appear on any Imperial charts. Hidden in the shadows beyond Neptune, It had been hollowed out decades ago by forward-thinking humans who suspected that one day they might face an existential threat from the stars. Inside this asteroid, Commander Park walked through a vast hangar bay, surveying the fruits of humanity's secret labor. Hundreds of warships unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. Their hulls were made of a special material that absorbed rather than reflected scanner waves, making them nearly invisible to Imperial detection systems. "How many are combat ready?" Park asked Officer Kang, who walked beside her holding a data tablet. 327 ships are fully operational, Kang replied. "The rest will be ready within 2 weeks." Park nodded, her eyes fixed on the massive vessel at the center of the fleet. The Reckoning was humanity's masterpiece, a dreadnought built in secret over 20 years. Its weapon systems were based on principles the Empire had never encountered. "The Empire believes they know the full extent of human technology," Park said quietly. "They think they've seen everything. We can build—" "They haven't seen anything yet," Kang replied with a grim smile. In a secure meeting room carved from the asteroid's rock, Park gathered the leaders of humanity's hidden resistance. Captain Lee had arrived secretly from Titan. Officer Song, humanity's greatest tactical mind, had come from her hiding place on Europa. Representatives from other hidden colonies joined via encrypted channels. "For 3 generations, our ancestors prepared for this day," Park began. "While humanity publicly advanced through normal technological steps, our hidden programs worked on technology far beyond what we showed to the galaxy." She activated a holographic display showing the Ghost Fleet's capabilities. "Our ships use a propulsion system that leaves no energy signature. Our weapons are based on quantum principles the Empire has never explored. But our greatest advantage is this." She tapped a control, and the display showed a detailed map of Imperial communication networks. "Thanks to Dr. Choi's work on Earth, we can intercept and decrypt their transmissions." Captain Lee leaned forward. "My fighters on Titan are ready to coordinate with the fleet. We've been gathering intelligence on Imperial patrol patterns for months." Officer Song, a quiet woman whose tactical brilliance had earned her legendary status even before the invasion, studied the displayed information with intense focus. "The Empire's strategy relies on overwhelming force and rigid command structures," she observed. "Their ships travel in predictable patterns and respond to attacks according to standard protocols. We can use this against them." She moved to the display and began marking locations throughout the solar system. "Their supply lines are extended. They're occupying Earth, Mars, and several moons simultaneously. If we strike here, here, and here," she indicated points along shipping routes, "we can disrupt their logistics without directly engaging their main battle groups." The room fell silent as the gathered leaders considered the plan. "We've been hiding and preparing for generations," Park said finally. "The time for secrecy is ending. The time for action has begun." 3 days later, an Imperial supply convoy moved through the space between Jupiter and Saturn. The 6 transport ships were escorted by 2 light cruisers, more than enough protection against what the Empire considered the primitive remnants of human resistance. Without warning, 5 ships appeared from seemingly nowhere. They moved with impossible speed, their hulls absorbing scanner waves rather than reflecting them. Before the Imperial cruisers could even report contact, the human vessels had disabled their engines with precision strikes. The Imperial commander on the lead transport ship frantically sent distress signals as his escorts drifted powerless. The reply he received wasn't from Imperial forces but from Commander Park. "This is Commander Park of the Human Alliance. Your convoy is now under our control. Your crews will not be harmed if you surrender." The commander stared in disbelief at his scanner readings. These ships matched no known human designs. They shouldn't exist. As the Ghost Fleet secured its first victory, Park sent a message to all hidden human outposts. "Phoenix has risen. The counterattack begins now." Wayhurosa Galactic Empire thought victory was assured. Until humanity's hidden fleet arrived, news of the Ghost Fleet's first attack spread through Imperial channels like wildfire. Admiral Tay was summoned from Earth to the Imperial flagship Dominance, now orbiting Mars. His face remained composed, but those who knew him well could see the tension in his jaw. "Explain how this happened," demanded Governor Han. "You assured us the human resistance was broken." "These ships are unlike anything we've encountered from humans before," Tay replied carefully. "They appear to use technology we didn't know they possessed." "Fix this," Han hissed. "Emperor Du is displeased. He does not tolerate failure." Over the next 2 weeks, the Ghost Fleet struck Imperial targets across the solar system with devastating precision. Supply depots vanished. Communication relays went silent. Patrol ships disappeared without sending distress signals. The Imperial response was massive and predictable. They deployed fleet elements to protect major installations and increased patrol density along supply routes. But the Ghost Fleet, guided by Officer Song's brilliant tactics, simply attacked where the Empire wasn't looking. Dr. Choi continued his work within the Imperial Science Division, now under increased pressure to develop countermeasures against the mysterious human ships. "We need better scanner systems," his supervisor demanded. "These rebels are somehow evading our best detection technology." "I understand," Dr. Choi replied. "I believe I can improve the quantum resonance patterns in our long-range scanners." What he actually did was introduce subtle flaws in the scanner, calibration that created brief but exploitable blind spots. Each improvement he delivered to the Empire contained hidden weaknesses that Officer Song's tactical team quickly identified and exploited. Captain Lee's forces on Titan joined the wider conflict, emerging from hiding to strike at Imperial bases throughout Saturn's moon system. His fighters used knowledge gained from months of observation to hit exactly where the Empire was weakest. "They're adapting," Lee told his team after a successful raid on an Imperial fuel depot. "But they're adapting slowly. They can't believe humans could be this organized." The turning point came at the Battle of Proxima Centauri. The Empire had established a major forward base in the nearest star system to Sol, using it to coordinate their occupation forces. Officer Song identified it as a critical target. "If we take out their command and control at Proxima, their solar system operations will be in chaos for weeks," she explained to Commander Park. Park nodded thoughtfully. "But they'll have the base heavily defended. This would be our largest engagement yet." "Yes," Song agreed. "And that's why we'll bring the reckoning." The massive human dreadnought had remained hidden until now, its existence unknown to Imperial intelligence. As the rest of the Ghost Fleet engaged the Imperial defenders at Proxima Centauri, the reckoning emerged from hyperspace directly above the main Imperial base. Admiral Tai, who had taken personal command of the Proxima defense, watched in disbelief as his sensors registered the massive vessel. "Impossible," he whispered. "No human ship could be that size." The reckoning's advanced shield technology easily absorbed the panicked fire from Imperial defenses. Its main weapons, gravity lances that distorted space itself, tore through Imperial ships as if they were made of paper. Commander Park stood on the Reckoning's bridge watching the battle unfold. "Send the message to all Imperial forces," she ordered. Her communications officer nodded and transmitted, "This is Commander Park of the Human Alliance. Your forces are outmatched. Withdraw from human space immediately or face complete destruction." For the first time in centuries, Imperial forces retreated from a battlefield. As reports reached Emperor Do, his rage was legendary. 3 admirals were executed for their failure to contain the human threat. "Find their hidden bases," the Emperor commanded. "Destroy their fleet. I want this rebellion crushed completely." What the Emperor didn't understand was that this wasn't a rebellion. It was humanity revealing its true strength after generations of careful preparation. Galactic Empire thought victory was assured, until humanity's hidden fleet arrived. Admiral Tay stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship Dominance, studying the tactical display. After months of humiliating defeats, he had devised a plan that would finally crush the human resistance. He would use Earth itself as bait. "The humans care deeply about their homeworld," he explained to his officers. "We will position our main fleet at the gateway to Earth's solar system. When their Ghost Fleet arrives to liberate their planet, we will spring our trap." The Empire committed an unprecedented force. 5,000 warships gathered at the jump point leading to Sol. Emperor Du himself traveled to a nearby system to witness what he expected would be the final victory over the troublesome humans. "Is Yuri, the trap ready?" Emperor Du asked during a secure transmission. "Yes, Your Majesty," Admiral Tay replied with confidence. "We've analyzed their attack patterns. Their Commander Park is predictable in one way. She will not abandon Earth. When she comes, we will be waiting." Deep in the command center of the Reckoning, Commander Park reviewed the Imperial fleet movements with Officer Song. "They're gathering their forces at the Proxima jump point," Song noted. "It's clearly a trap." Park nodded. "Yes, and we're going to spring it." "You want to engage?" Song asked, surprised. "They expect us to either avoid the trap or to rush in blindly," Park explained. "We'll do neither. We'll use their expectations against them." Over the next 3 days, Park gathered the entire Ghost Fleet. Captain Lee's fighters from Titan joined them, along with ships from other hidden human colonies. Meanwhile, Dr. Choi on Earth prepared for his most important act of sabotage. The Imperial fleet waited in perfect formation at the jump point. Admiral Tay had positioned his forces in a 3-dimensional net designed to envelop the humans when they arrived. "Contact," announced an Imperial sensor officer. "Multiple ships emerging from hyperspace." The Ghost Fleet appeared, but not as a single group as expected. They emerged at 12 different points simultaneously, their formations seemingly random and chaotic. "They're scattered," Tay observed. "Perfect. Begin the encirclement." As Imperial ships moved to surround the human vessels, Dr. Choi activated his masterwork, a virus that had been hidden in Imperial systems for months. Suddenly, Imperial communications went silent. Ship-to-ship coordination collapsed as each vessel lost contact with command. The seemingly random positions of the Ghost Fleet now revealed their purpose. They were perfectly situated to exploit the gaps in the disorganized Imperial formation. "All ships, execute Plan Avalanche," Commander Park ordered. The human fleet moved with perfect coordination while the Imperial ships struggled to communicate. The Reckoning led a direct assault on Admiral Tay's flagship, its gravity weapons tearing through the Imperial defenses. On the Dominance, Tay watched in horror as his carefully planned trap fell apart. "Restore communications," he shouted. "Reform the line." It was too late. Captain Lee led a strike team that boarded the Dominance through a breach in its hull. After fierce fighting, they reached the bridge and captured Admiral Tay himself. From the Reckoning, Commander Park opened a channel to Emperor Do's ship. "Your fleet is defeated. Your admiral is captured. This war can end now, or it can continue until your empire crumbles completely. The choice is yours." Emperor Do, faced with the first major military defeat in Imperial history, responded with cold rage. "What are your terms?" "Recognition of human independence, a treaty establishing boundaries between our territories, and the immediate withdrawal of all Imperial forces from human space." For long moments, the Emperor was silent. His advisors whispered urgently about unrest in the outer systems, about other subject species watching this conflict closely. "Agreed," he finally said. "But no, this Commander Park, the Empire does not forget." 6 weeks later, Commander Park stood on a hill overlooking the rebuilding efforts in Seoul. Imperial ships had departed Earth skies, replaced by the vessels of the Ghost Fleet. Humans who had been forced to serve the Empire returned home. Dr. Choi worked openly now, helping to adapt captured Imperial technology for human use. Park gazed at the stars appearing in the evening sky. Humanity had won its freedom, but she knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy had changed forever. The Empire would remember their defeat, and other species would look to humans with new respect, and perhaps new fear. "We're no longer hidden," she said softly to Captain Lee, who stood beside her. "Now we must decide what kind of power we will become."